Eze-Ora of Agleri that has maintained a dynasty. He is the 34th king in Obugad. But apart from that they have maintained this kingship and dynasty, other Israelites are equally in Igbo land. We have Zebulun, we have Ephraim, we have Menashe, we have Reuben, we have Danites. They are all here.
N'ibi boss wa apụta bụ si n'aka eri Gad bụ ụmụ Israel ma ọ bụ Israel si n'ọnwa o ma ọ bụ anyị ma ọ bụ isi Israel na anyị na ụmụ Israel bụ nwanne n'Igbo adọrọ n'elu ndị Yoruba ma ebe a si wa apụta Hausa ma ebe a si wa apụta na anyị na bụ n'ọnwa n'Igbo adọrọ n'elu ị na-aga ị na-eme ngala n'ọnwa Chineke ka ị bụ.
You walk with pride because you're a child of Adonai.
Ka Chineke gozie unu aba ya o.
Na Adonai bless us.
Shalom.
Special name.
Igbos are Israelites. The question of Igbo being Israelites are not in doubt. There are evidences that Igbos are Israelites. The journey of Igbo started when the Assyrians actually attacked and exiled the 10 tribes of Israel, the Northern Kingdom, in 722 BCE. From that period, all the 10 tribes were scattered. The bulk, according to Mazutra, were taken to Africa. So in Igbo land, you will see most of these lost 10 tribes.
From deep inside Africa, a sound is emanating that is causing reverberations around the world. It's the sound of Judaism. A sound of a people casting off 2 centuries of colonialism, returning to what they say are their native roots.
I know from birth I'm a Jew. Only I know that my forefather missed the way.
I grew up alongside every other Igbo youth. We kept on hearing that Igbo people came from Israel.
There was a story my mom told me at the age of 6 years. I never forget. He said, the Igbos are Jews.
And it's the story of one man, Shemuel, who went searching for what that meant and found answers on the internet, prompting a journey that led him to a community of thousands of Jews. A place where resources are few, but commitment transcends. Through prayer, practice, ritual, diet, and song. But this is also the sound of doubt from Jews in America.
They would ask me, are you from America? Or I would say, no, I'm a Nigerian. They say, you black? I said, yes. They said, no, it's not true.
And rejection from family and friends.
I am like an outcast among them.
And in this volatile Christian-Muslim nation, doubt often turns to violence. This is the story of the Igbo, 25 million strong, a people once under siege by their very own government.
Biafra declared its independence.
And a people once captured and shipped across the Atlantic by the hundreds of thousands. A people who helped build America, and a people whose descendants are now discovering their Igbo roots, raising questions of cultural identity for countless African Americans.
Many African Americans actually do not know that they have Igbo heritage. The chances of their being Igbo is much, much higher than their chances of coming from Ghana or from Western Nigeria.
If you're from the right county in Virginia, you probably have a 60% chance of having Igbo ancestry.
It's a story of the strength of belief, ancestry, and community. Boosted by a visitor who inspires everyone and helps take Shemuel's dreams to a whole new reality. The Jews of Nigeria are re-emerging.
Thank you to everyone who's donated on WeWereNeverLost.com, helping us get closer to produce a revolutionary project, reconnecting and shedding light on the stories of the disconnected Jewish communities in Africa. I've been having amazing conversations with Jews in Uganda, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, and more. Check this out.
Shalom, Jews of New York. We are live with Rudy Rahman. Like, is he not the hero of all of ours? We've been posting stories about what went down with you when you were gone. Thank God you're healthy, you're well, everything's okay. You're at a party, like you're having a good time. Can you walk us through just a little what went down there?
Yeah. So first you have to understand the political background of Nigeria. There are three ethnic groups that were united together by the British, but those three ethnic groups never liked each other and still don't. One of those ethnic groups are called the Igbos, which all believe to descend from a tribe of Israel. Now, of that tribe, there are 50 million there, but only a few thousand have kept their Jewish culture. We're doing a project that's called We Were Never Lost, where we're documenting, showcasing, and sharing to the world the stories of the lost tribes of Israel or the disconnected communities of Jews around the world. And so we went to Nigeria to film our first episode, and since the government, which is the majority House of Fulani, does not like the Igbos, which that's the population we went to discover, any sort of film that is empowering to that community is seen as a threat to the government. So although we didn't do anything, and of course there was conspiracy theories that were created from it, we were taken by the government, abducted, and held in cages for 3 weeks. If not, they wanted to do it for years if it wasn't for the right people getting involved, just because I went to share the story of a Jewish community in Nigeria.
So literally cages, you were like in those kind of, that sounds crazy. So literally in a cage, like how did they treat you?
For the first 6 days we didn't eat, and only because we put pressure in a certain way did we eventually get food. We didn't shower, and then we did shower on the 6th day, but the shower meant a bucket that they use to clean themselves when they go to the bathroom because there's no toilet paper, and using that same bucket with sink water and then pouring it on your heads to shower yourself. You don't have a bed, you don't have a chair, you don't have a desk, you can't sit anywhere but the floor, and on the floor it's the most disgusting thing you can imagine with mold everywhere. And so you're living in these conditions and you don't have sunlight. I didn't see outside in 3 weeks. I didn't feel the sun on my face. I didn't hear any other noise. So the same walls. So it's not fun for sure, but we didn't give up at any point, and we were constantly fighting it in order to get out, and the world also was fighting for us.
That's crazy. I can tell you, I mean, obviously you didn't have your phone with you, and you didn't see everything that was going on, but there was like a total campaign, like just pictures and trying to explain. It was also not an easy, I mean, you know this from all the other advocacy work that you do, but, you know, even just the case for Israel and explaining that, but even going into the details, it was just really hard to understand exactly what went down. So aren't we all lucky that he made it in one piece, and it will be a story. I mean, it sounds to me like a book.
So I'll say this, our experience was a drop in the sea of experiences that the Igbo population has to face day in and day out. In 1967, of all years, when we had our liberation of Jerusalem, they tried to fight for liberation, and 3 million people were massacred over 3 years. So there's a reality that is experienced there that, yeah, we definitely went through something real, something very hard, but it's nothing in compared to what those people face with, and we only hope that we don't become the story, because we went to tell their story, that through what we went through, you actually are able to dive deeper to understand fundamentally what is going on there and how do we actually help our Jewish brothers and sisters, because you know what? If they had come home first and we were still suffering in Europe or in the Sfarad areas of North Africa or in Mizrach, the Middle East or Ethiopia or wherever else, we would expect them to come for our aid and allow us to come back home. So we should do the same.
Yeah, it's a very complex issue also in terms of even till this day there are Ethiopian Jews that are still there. It's not.
One of our episodes is in Ethiopia. We're doing 6 episodes and one of them is there.
Okay, that's super interesting. Do you know when this will be aired?
We're hoping around a year. We still have to go back to Africa in order to film the next episodes, and we're doing 2 separate trips to finish off the 5 that are left. We are not going to be telling anybody when and where we will be because of what just happened, but it should be done in the next few months, let's say. The next year it'll be done.
So is it going to be on a specific platform that you know about, or?
So we always had a vision from day one, and we are in conversation with the people of that vision, but we can't disclose it till we sign anything.
Okay, that sounds like Netflix to me. But I mean, of course, wherever it is, I mean, we're all going to watch it. It's super important and very interesting. It's also, I've never seen any piece of shred of content just in that topic or that country or the Jewish element of it. So definitely a first and definitely very interesting. I'm sure a lot of our followers who might not know your background story would love to have me ask you if you could just tell us where you grew up, what your backstory is, and where you see yourself in 5 years.
So I'll start with the second question. I see myself, B'ezrat Hashem, continuing living in Israel and already have started the family that I seek to build in Israel, being surrounded by very positive people and continuing helping Am Yisrael move forward. In terms of my background, my grandparents were all born in different countries. My grandparents on my mother's side, Morocco and Algeria, they lived in a town called Oujda, and there was a massacre of that town in 1948 as a response and a reaction to the creation of Israel. They fled to France. On my father's side of the family, they were born in Poland and Belgium and fled to France and hid in attics to survive the war. So both of my parents were first generation born in France, but my grandparents, their parents had moved there because wherever they were living, they were not Moroccan, they were Jews. They were not Algerian, they were Jews. They were not Polish, they were not Belgian, they were Jews. And even while in France at that time, they were hiding in attics, meaning they were not French either. So after the war ended, all of a sudden they have a piece of paper that gives them a status that makes them comfortable. That doesn't make you part of the French people. And I've always understood it that way. Because I was born in France and then moved to Israel when I was 3, moved to Miami when I was 5. And I understood very quickly, these are my experiences, which definitely plays a huge role in how I see the world, my mentality, the people you surround yourself with, how you're cultured. But it's not who I am. Because my roots and my core, my past and my future is from the land of Israel, and our people are eternally connected there. And through growing up and moving around so many different times and having to go through those difficult conversations, plus definitely very hard experiences, which is for a later conversation, that has allowed me to understand my identity in a better way that I think many Jews do, but have never heard it being articulated for it to really go more than just what's deep inside, but come out on the surface. And that's part of my mission to do.
So at what age did you move to Israel?
So I moved to Israel when I was 3, then to Miami when I was 5. At 17, I graduated high school, left to Israel to do the army, joined the army at 17. Then I went back to the U.S. to do school and traveled in Asia and South America, and came back and made Aliyah sof 2 years ago.
Oh, wow, amazing. And you live in the center of Jerusalem?
I live in Al-Nona in Jerusalem. It's about a 9-minute drive from the center. I'm introverted, so I like to have my space.
Got it. Okay, so basically we're here today for this launch of this single called It's All About Love. And we had an event with Nissim Black 2 weeks ago. We did a Kabbalat Shabbat with the Israeli consulate. And there we also promised Nissim that we would do a better job as a platform with featuring Jews that are, from different backgrounds, like he called it brown or black. And we have been doing that hishtadlut in that sense. But just telling those stories. So even last week we were interviewing Danielle Renov. Her mother is Moroccan, her father is Ashkenaz. The impact of that just on her cooking book and her culinary experience is so amazing. I think
there, my parents are the same. My mother had an experience of her parents in Morocco and Algeria, and my father had an experience in his grandparents and parents in Ashkenaz, in Poland, and other places. But my dad always jokes that when he married my mom, he converted to Sephardic. So I was raised fully Sephardic. So I don't know how that is to have the split life.
So your backstory is definitely twinning with Danielle. Are you familiar with her?
I'm not, but looking forward to hearing.
You have to meet her, Danielle Renov, if you're watching, and if not, we're gonna DM this to you. Rudy is just like one town over. She's also around Jerusalem, so and married with kids. So hopefully, maybe she has a friend or something.
You should be meeting because you both care about something very deeply and can like collectively as a generation unite our forces to change the reality. You know.
Of course, I'm just saying that if your plan is to have a family in 5 years, you know.
Sure. I have to find the right person, for sure. No doubt.
So, single ladies, this guy is amazing, and now's the time to DM him. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you in person. Thank you for always being part of whatever live we do or whatever, like just the knowledge that you have and the time and energy that you put into educating yourself is such an amazing help for all of us. And a very comforting thing to know. You know, there are not a lot of people that are out there and have a voice and are with us. Like, can literally count them on maybe 2 hands. So thank you for everything you do.
We Biafrans are the lost tribe of Israel. I'm here to tell you the true origin of the Biafrans, which is the Igbos. Let me begin according to Genesis 29 verse 30. Jacob had 12 sons, namely Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. Gad was the 7th son of Jacob. According to Genesis 46 verse 16, Gad has 7 sons, namely Haggai, Zephon, Shuni, Esbon, Eri, Arodi, and Areri. Sometime in the Middle East, famine struck, and Jacob moved with his family and other 70 relations to Egypt. But before then, Joseph, who was the 11th son of Jacob, had been sold by his brothers to Egypt, where he was made governor general under a king Pharaoh. As time goes on, the Pharaoh that knows Joseph died, and they started suffering persecutions from the hands of the Egyptians. Eri, the 5th son of Gad, foresaw the danger, persecutions, suffering, and wickedness coming. He decided to live on time with his 2 younger brothers, Arodi and Areri, with their half-brothers. They traveled through Ethiopia, Sudan, and downward West Africa through River Nile, and landed in a place known as Aguleri today, through Omambala River in Anambra State, around 1305 BC. Eri established and lived very close to Omambala River. He was wealthy and wise, just like his great-grandfather Abraham. And this is the reason why Anambra has the highest number of rich people in Africa. Eri gave birth to 5 sons, namely Agolo, Ata, Oba, Hebrew, and Mary. Agolo, as the first son of Eri, stayed back and established Aguleri in Anambra State. Ata moved upward north and established Igala Kingdom, and this is the reason why their overall chief is known as Ata of Igala in Kogi State. Oba left and founded Oba Kingdom in Anambra State. Hebrew, which was later changed to mean Igbo or Hebrew, he was a very powerful and spiritual man, and this is the reason why people from this area are always spiritual. He left and founded Igbo Etiti, Igbo Adagbe, and Igbo Eze within Nsukka and part of Anambra State. Mary left and founded Agukunri, Nri Kingdom. Arodi, which is the 6th son of God, left and founded Arochukwu, very industrious, good at art and craft. Example, Abangwa people of Aba. Arodi gave birth to Nembe, Ngwa, Ogoni, Abakaliki, Afikpo, Aro Aket Ekpene, which is Akwa Ibom, Aro Eche, which is River State, and Aro Ndizog. During slave trade, Aro spreaded all over the world, America, Brazil, and Cuba. And Aro festival has always been celebrated in Cuba till today. Areri, which is the 7th son of God, was a man with a lot of wisdom. The native tongue of his descendants is what you have today as Central Igbo. people from this area has the highest number of graduates and professors in Igbo land. He gave birth to Owerri, Umuahia, Diobu, Okigwe, Elele, and Mbano, while Eri's half-brothers left and founded Ijao nationality and part of Edo State and many parts of Niger Delta. Evidence and similarities. Now, to verify some of those things I have mentioned above, go to Aguleri. There is a particular house known as Obogad. That is House of God. This Obogad, in honor of their father Gad, the seventh son of Israel. Remember, Gad was the seventh son of Jacob. Go to Genesis 29 verse 30. And Gad has 7 sons, of which the last 3 were Eri, Arodi, and Areri, with their half-brothers that left Egypt to downward West Africa. Go to Genesis 46 verse 16. This Obogad was the first house to be built in Igbo land, and this is the reason why every man in Igbo land always built a place in his house known as Obi or Obo, in honor of his father, and mainly for relaxation. And in the olden days, there's always a family shrine or little oracle, and they worshipped oracle then because their father left Egypt before God gave the 10 commandments to Moses for the Israelites, of which one of the 10 commandments is against idol worshipping. Even though modern day Igbos built Obi or Obo as outside bar without any shrine, while some Christians don't build Obi anymore because of their belief. This can also be called Eri Temple. This Obogad also serves as a concentration place for royal fathers, which have direct route to Eri. Secondly, at the burial site of Eri, there is a Trinity tree. At the burial place of Eri, there is a Trinity tree standing on the grave site. These are 3 trees, but are strongly united and connected by a single taproot. Ada means first daughter in Israel. Go to Genesis chapter 4 verse 19 and 20, and it means the same thing in Igbo language. When an Igbo man is making opinion in public gathering, he will shout Igbo Queen, and the people will respond by saying Yah. Yah is a short form of Yahweh. Yahweh is the name of Jewish God. The Israelites manufacture 80% of world weapons and 70% of USA weapons, just like the Igbos manufacture 80% of the weapons used during Biafra War, of which no African nation had ever done. The Igbos were only defeated due to hunger policy. By now, we should have been manufacturing war weapons for Africa, and no country should have gone outside Africa to purchase war weapons to fight insurgency, if not for the bad policy of Nigeria. The Igbos are the most highly technologically inclined people in the whole Africa. You can also find out that they always manage the post of science and technology and industries in many Nigerian ministerial posts. The first West African billionaire is from Newi, Chief Laios Ojukwu. The black indigenous vehicle manufacturer, example, Kosharis Motors and Enosin Motors. The indigenous mobile phone and computer manufacturer, example, Slok Mobile is owned by Ojuzokano. Zynos Computer is owned by Stanley Eke, and Slok Mobile is owned by Nnamdi Ezigbo, the father of internet and the founder of fastest computer in the whole world, Philip Emeagwali. We carry our dead ones home just like the Israelites. Go to Genesis chapter 49, verse 29, verse 30 to chapter 50. Just like the Israelites, we are ruled or led by elders and priests. Israelite has no king until Samuel anointed Saul to become the king of Israelites. And that is the reason why the Israelite was led by Prophet Moses and many other prophets. Conclusion. Israeli ambassador Nuakez confirmed that the Igbos are Jews. Check Daily Sun newspaper 2004. Therefore, the Igbos are the block engine and Japan of Africa. No wonder an author with international reputation, Emefiena Nnia, said that in Biafra, Africa died. We love our neighbors. We accommodate everybody. We can live everywhere and develop anywhere. It is in our blood to develop. We are God's people, a choosing generation. Let Nigeria stop the marginalization of the Igbos and Biafra, or let them have their freedom. As for the Igbos, we should know whom we are. We are God's people, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We should aim and think bigger and work harder as it is in our blood. And let every parent endeavor to teach their children Igbo language and culture. May Chukwu Kikabia be with you all.
You say?